What is up, guys, and welcome back to another brand new video. Today we're here for episode number 18 of F1 23 My Team Career Mode. Few episodes to go. We're really not that far from F1 24 getting underway, or that could be in one of the next videos. You never know. I could be uploading a 24 video in the not too distant future, so stay tuned. If you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button and turn on that notifications button to make sure you don't miss out on any new videos. And if you haven't seen the most recent episode, click in the top right hand corner of your screen right now, or the link will be in the description below. Anyway, moving on from last weekend into this weekend, the Qatar Grand Prix. First time it is in the F1 game, and the only time we will be visiting this location in F1 23. So it's a sprint weekend. We've got 3 sprint races to come, which ups the stakes a bit more, with Hamilton 40 odd points behind us and Verstappen falling further back, considering he was right up there last time out. So Verstappen's on a bit of a downfall at the moment. He missed out on he literally missed out on an opportunity to really close the gap, I tell ya. He could have been up there really fighting for the championship, and instead he has fallen back to 59 points. And Hamilton, it's fair to say that he didn't take his chances at Japan either.
Okay, I need your attention. The tech regulations are changing. There's a risk some of our hard work will be undone, so we need to mitigate it. As soon as you can, I want you to look at the developments we have and tell us what areas you want to invest in protecting.
Okay, so technical regulations announced for next season. So we have 2 departments that are at risk of upgrades not getting on the car for next year. That is the chassis department and the powertrain department. So those 2 departments are at risk. If we don't make sure that we save these upgrades or adapt the parts, there's a big chance that they will not get on the car for next season. I think there's something like 20 plus upgrades that are at risk. So we need to be focusing on this for a little while yet, especially with the major upgrades. They're not as expensive as they would have been when we first bought them. But they are going to take up quite a bit of resources. So qualifying time now. Lawson only just managed to scrape through into Q1. I love this section of racetrack. Absolutely flat out. Probably abusing the track limits a little too much there. But the last sector I absolutely love. It's this flat. Well, almost flat. You do have to lift, but it is absolutely incredible. I love racing around this racetrack now, or even just doing laps. I didn't really rate it that much when we first came here at the back end of 2021. Didn't look like a good track to me. All in all, I just wasn't a big fan of it. But when F1 23 came out, what was it, in the middle of the year? And as soon as I started doing laps, it was actually pretty cool. And to be honest, I think this track sort of suits my driving style, because I like fast flowing corners and I love fast flowing tracks. So this should be another good weekend for me. We can't really be, what would you say? We can't really be in conservation mode now. We have to start going all full steam ahead at some point. So at the end of our final lap in Q2, P1, and even after we gave Liam a nice tow, he couldn't get himself out and into the top 10. Well, he is 5 places up from where he was in Q1, but this is qualifying for the sprint race. So it doesn't matter if we start on pole, because you don't get anything. But there's a 1 point difference between 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. So top 8 get points. You get 8 points for a win, 7 points if you finish 2nd, 3rd, 6 if you finish in 3rd, and so on. So the sprint probably doesn't really matter all too much, but to be honest, it would be nice to get some points. So anyway, on board for this entire lap. The car just feels really good. I don't think we had too many upgrades going on the car for this weekend, but just flowing the car into some of these corners is absolutely incredible. going through the backhander in onto, let's say, this mini back straight, but then you got the final sector coming on, which is all flat. The first two parts are just absolutely flat. So here we go. This first right-hander, absolutely flat. Didn't quite get the line right, but that's flat. Gentle lift, but I think I just about got that flat out. You can get this corner flat out, but you have to lift a little bit, because if you don't lift, you'll be disobeying track limits. A little bit wide at the final corner, but it doesn't really hurt us too much. Not showing great sector signs, but up to the line to complete qualifying. Where does this put us? Into P4. Okay, so we're somewhat near the front, which is probably what I expected to be. So P4 ahead of Verstappen, but both Mercs locking out the front row. Boy, oh boy, have a look at that. 0.04 between the top four. That is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. We haven't seen a grid that tight, or qualifying level that tight, for some time. That is quite ridiculous. But it all comes down to race pace. It's only about 10 laps in the sprint race. But now that we've got the extra resource points, because there's a practice session after qualifying, because this is the 21 and 22 qualifying levels, we don't have a sprint shootout like they do in real life. So what we do, get all the resource points, and we are going to say all the major upgrades first. The major ones are the ones I really want to save. The minor ones, I don't really care too much. So with that all done, let's go sprint racing.
Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint.
Okay, so only 10 laps we have to get through. Hopefully we can bring home some points and limit the damage. It'd be nice if we can get a win. First time in what feels like forever, in all honesty. So simple 10 laps. I don't think we will go the softs, because in case you guys didn't realize what happened in real life, we do go the softs. So we'll see what happens. 5 red lights and away we go. Fairly even start from all of us, but Leclerc gets a good start up against Russell. Hamilton got away well on the clean side of the way. Here comes Carlos Sainz, trying to go around the outside. We tried to go around the outside of Russell and Leclerc, but that has not worked out. And Carlos gets through, and Hamilton skips away. His teammate Russell and Charlie are having a nice squabble for second place. They've squabbled through the first 3 corners. Russell has the inside for the next couple of corners, still side by side. Leclerc gets a very good run all the while. It's holding up me and Sainz, but Russell does get through. It's Mercedes 1 and 2, Ferrari in 3rd. Is it going to be 4th as well? Sainz stays there with us, and it does look like Sainz, well, no we won't. We get the better around the outside, and we do hold on for 4th place at the moment. So I said we weren't going to go on the softs, but I thought it's only 10 laps. Let's see how long the softs will last for, because I'm thinking there is a potential of a 2-stop happening. If we do go on to the softs, if we do start on the softs, the chances of a 2-stop will be more and more likely. So let's see if we can make use of these soft tyres, look after them for these 10 laps, as well as making move on Leclerc, heading down into turn number 1, halfway through this sprint race already. And Russell gets through on Lewis, so that's a change for the lead. Hamilton just doesn't seem to have had the pace in these early phases, or unless he's gone and cooked those tyres already. I'll be surprised if that was the case. For a man with so much experience like Lewis, and he's just gone and burnt the tyres already. Look at that, he did not get a good run out of turn 2 at all. And we're going to invite ourselves up the inside to turn number 4. Oh, he left the door open. Turn 5, we'll have the inside again. And for the run down to turn 6, we are going to defend that line, and we're going to hold on for P2. Russell up next, just over a second behind or ahead of us, and we're trying everything to get inside the DRS. We did, I think, that lap eventually, but we are going to hold stations because we're going to recover the battery, and we are going to see how our tyre is at the moment, 30%. So that's not quite what I expected. That's what that's what, nearly 9%, or maybe a little bit under that. So that's helpful information for me to know that. But now we're close enough. We'll move on. George, this is for the lead of the sprint race. The sprint has gone by in such a flash, and with 2 laps to go, we take the lead away from George. Probably not the smartest move, because we do need to create a fairly sizable gap without having to use too much of our battery in order to do so. So we get the move very easily and cleanly on George, but now we've got to push like crazy to make sure we don't get attacked into turn number 1. So we do avoid that, and heading onto the last lap, we do survive the threat from George Sargent. Can't see the checker flag. He's retired with a couple of laps to go and entering the yellow zone. He's somewhere off in the desert area. So we get past the yellow, abuse track limits massively there, as if it's going to make too much of a difference, because we just need to survive these couple of corners. The sprint has gone by in such a flash at a racetrack that should suit our driving style with the nature of the corners. And out of the last corner, we do take home a win of some sort. It's been a little while, but we do take the win in Qatar. Very, very nicely done. And that is, well, could have been pole position, but one thing that I haven't told you guys, we are taking an engine penalty for this weekend. So I think we've taken a new ICE and something else. I think ICE was one that we needed to change, or maybe a gearbox that needed to be replaced. So we're going down 10 places plus the extra penalty, the extra components. So that's 15 places in total. So we are starting 16th for this sprint race, and so it'll be a Mercedes 1-2, Leclerc in 3rd. So that's going to be your top 3. We've got a lot of work to do ahead of us, but I'm hoping that our pace is going to be good enough to get us somewhere near the top, and maybe a top 5. That would be an ideal. That would be our aim. Top 5 would be very good.
Welcome back to Qatar, and the desert sands of time are running out this season for some of our drivers. Lights out are just moments away. This, the 4th race in the Middle East. We're back here in Lusail for a track that's 3.34 miles long. There are 16 turns around its unique 3-pronged shape and just a single DRS zone out of turn 16. It's fast and it's flowing, and there's a good overtaking opportunity with DRS down the long straight and into turn 1. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. George Russell will begin today's event in pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Sainz, Oscar Piastri, Norris, Verstappen, Fernando Alonso, Perez, Liam Lawson, Magnussen, Ocon, Gasly, Stroll, Bottas, Skip, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, De Vries, Albon, Sargent, and Joe Guan Yu. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today.
Alrighty, time for the actual Grand Prix itself. A further 19 laps this time. So what we've learned in the sprint race is that we are going to avoid the softs, and we're going to have to treat our tyres a little bit carefully in this race. We don't want to be pushing too hard too early. Adding an extra bit of downforce, it is going to hurt us on the straights a little bit, but the extra click of front downforce should help the front tyres, especially when they're grainy. We'll see what happens. 5 red lights and away we go. Fairly long hole. Surprising, a few cars are already starting on the soft, so they're hoping to make early ground. That's not the case for us. We're going to do a 1-stop, medium, and then hards. Let's see how many spots we gain into turn number 1, trying to take a higher sweeping line going off the track to do so. But we do get past Bottas and Stroll, so that's 2 spots already. And we've kept our nose clean so far, but here comes Stroll. We're going to defend the line up into turn number 4, and that's actually Liam Lawson, who is trying to get up the inside of Ocon. No, it's Gasly. It was me trying to go up the inside of Ocon. We barely, I think we just about missed him. We are going up the inside into turn 6, and we actually did make contact. So that's 3 spots gained already. Very, very lovely done. Here's a move. Bottas. Oh, 3 wide round turn 1. That's an Alfa, an Aston, and an Alpine. I think that's Ocon. That was actually the beneficiary in getting that done. Oh no, it was actually Ocon. He might have dropped 1 or 2 spots somewhere in the mix. But now, great run on Kevin Magnussen, and we are going to go firmly up the inside. Plenty of battery to utilise. But he's got a bit of a slipstream on Lawson, and look at that effect. That's a pretty big effect. But regardless, we do get up the inside, and that is us up 12 places from where we start. Well, hang on, what am I saying? P12 up 4 spots. That's a cool shot of all the cars going past, just below the camera there. Now, Liam, I don't want Liam to be holding us up too long because it is early days, but I also want to... Oh my God, why are you going defensive, Liam, into the last corner? That is not smart, because you are just going to destroy your run in trying to get past Pierre Gasly. That was really not smart, but here we go. We got a good run this time. And we've both got DRS, but we've got the inside line. Liam, do not make this too hard, and he doesn't. We do go in a little bit deep, but that is us up into 11th place now. So we've kept our nose clean, and we are moving up places, but I think we are pushing a little bit more than what we probably would like to. So we've got another good run on Gasly, heading up into turn number 12. Oh boy. That was close. We probably need to be a little bit further ahead, running wide at the exit of 13. That is not ideal. I'll tell you that right now. But we can try to go for a move on Alonso. We weren't close enough. There's a yellow flag behind us somewhere. I don't know who could potentially be out of this race. It's Hulkenberg that's gone out of the race. So we're down to 21 runners at the end of, or at the start of lap 5, and that's Liam trying to keep an eye on it to see where he's at. We're going to go up the inside of Alonso as we go up the inside of turn 1, but we've gone in too deep, and that has proved to be unsuccessful as we pass Hulkenberg. He was parked on the side of the track. To be honest, I'm starting to get a little bit frustrated that cars are being parked on the inside for such a long time, but the FIA decides to keep us racing, which is great. But I'd rather have a VSC every once in a while. It gets a little bit boring when we don't get any VSCs or whatever. So it would be nice to see that odd safety car coming out every now and then, which is probably something that EA and Cody's need to focus on. Even if a car's just parked on the side of the track, if they're off far enough, then yeah, at least throw a VSC out. So I think EA and Cody's need to focus on a bit more, some more real life incidents, and where the cars park up and how they get beached in the gravel, because we don't see that at all on these games. Anyway, Red Bull in for a pit stop. I think that's Perez who's come in. I don't know what tyres he's got on to. It's another set of softs, so he's definitely on a 2-stop. Tyre wear is looking pretty ugly already. 40% on the tyres already, nearing 50 as we approach our pit window. We're only a couple of laps out now. We've actually extended this stint for another 1 or 2 laps, so hopefully that gives us a chance to get ourselves onto some fresher tyres than those we're battling around. And now we're starting to battle the front one. We made a move on Norris not long ago, and we go up the inside of Carlos Sainz into turn number 6. Very nicely done. Is he still there? We got to give him some space if he does go up the inside into turn number 7. But we do hang on very nicely for position number 6. That's 2 spots in 1 lap. It could be 3 if we overtake Piastri. Well, we're going to. So we're going to gain 3 spots in the 1 lap as Piastri comes into the pit lane. And at the end of the very next lap, we are now on Verstappen's gearbox, and Verstappen does not have DRS assistance to help him. He lets us go on the normal racing line as we get a nice slipstream from Hamilton, who's ahead. It's a Mercedes 1-2 at the moment. Russell's a further 3 or 4 seconds ahead of us. So we're nearing our pit window. I'm hoping to stay out an extra 1 or 2 laps, depending if we get a VSC or something, but no. So into the pit lane comes ourselves, Hamilton and Carlos behind us. Verstappen and Russell continuing on for the extra lap. That is very interesting. 60% on the right front. So tyre wear is very much an issue. We're going to have to look after these hards for the majority of this stint. depending on what happens. Behind us is Charles Leclerc, who we are on board with. These guys have already made a stop. That's Checo that's coming out. That's just going past the pit exit line. And look at that, they're miles ahead. One thing I didn't catch was that Leclerc had actually pitted quite some time ago. So are they on a 2-stop? Or are they steadily for the 1-stop? So Russell came in the very next lap, and he did come out just about ahead of us. Oh, Jesus Christ. So the benefit of an undercut is very powerful on this game. You gain 2 or 3 seconds than those that are on older tyres. But geez, I thought we were going to be sailing ahead of Lewis. I thought we were going to be 3 or 4 car lengths by the time we get to the end of the DRS zone, but that didn't happen. Perez really struggling on his tyres now. That's Piastri who's ahead of us. I don't know whether he's stopped yet, but look at Checo. He's got no hope of holding each other. Oh, we've given Russell a bit of a tag, and Checo and George have made contact with one another, and we've get past both of them. I want to see a replay of that when we get a chance. So here's the replay. So we made initial contact with George, but for some reason, Checo and George just clinged onto each other, held each other up. They couldn't get off one another, and that allowed us to sail through. So I don't know if our initial contact with George was an issue, but regardless, we get past both of them, and now we get past our fellow countryman Piastri with 10 laps to go, and we have got 4.2 seconds between us and Charles Leclerc. We're going to have to treat these tyres a little bit gently at the moment. Yellow flag behind us. I wonder who's that for as we round the last couple of corners for 9 laps to go. It's Verstappen who's going slowly with the left rear puncher, and I think it might have just hit someone else on the way through. So Verstappen with a puncher. How has he done that? I don't think I've ever seen a puncher on this game. So let's go. He's going around turn 12. Oh, let's go. Let's go right at the exit on the outside of 12 and heading into 13. Oh my goodness me. And so there goes bouncing over the curve. And so that's on. Was that Alonso or Stroll? Who I thought that they touched, but apparently that they weren't even close to making contact. Piastri, I think he's struggling a little bit with his tyres, because I think he pitted a few laps before us. So he's starting to feel, I don't know if he's starting to feel the effects of tyre wear as of yet, but I think it's just because everyone else around him are on fresher tyres, so he's probably trying his best to stay with us, but I don't think that's going to be lasting very long. But he is staying with George at the moment because he's just got himself back ahead, but they're 3 seconds behind us. So I think a podium is going to be the best result for George Russell in this race. But we are gently closing in to Charles Leclerc. I think at this stage the tyres are actually starting to wear out a fair bit. I think they should be nearing some of 50% already, as we are abusing track limits quite harshly there. Comparing to our teammate Liam, I don't know where he is at the moment, but he is certainly not holding back on track limits, I tell you. He is keeping that car very well within the white lines. Oh my goodness, look at that. Then the front left is nearly at 60% already. So I didn't feel like I was pushing that hard, but we've had to push a little bit harder just to get into the DRS. And there is the DRS, or the tyre signal means that one of our tyres is 60% and I think it was the front left that was at 60%. So now that we're right on Charles, it is going to be on the last lap. And I think Charlie is really starting to struggle on his tyres. To be honest, I haven't really noticed that the car has been struggling that much. But here we go. We are staying close enough to Leclerc as we start the final lap. We have not won a race since the Hungarian Grand Prix, some 4 or 5 races ago. But at the last corner, we are right up Leclerc's gearbox on the Ferrari. We go up the inside into turn number 1. He is an absolute city duck. This was the move I was waiting for. And we are into the lead of the Qatar Grand Prix. We have not led a lap this whole race, and I can confirm that Leclerc did lead lap number 28, but the one crucial lap that we are going to lead is the last lap. And boy, we waited a little while for this moment, but it's a very crucial win in our championship fight. It means we extend our championship lead, and we've done it in a big way by ending a 5-race drought with victory in Qatar.
Guys, thank you so much. You've been great all weekend. To everyone back in the factory, on a pit wall, you've been amazing.
Welcome then to the podium, our top 3 drivers. What a great effort from them today in a very difficult race.
It's been a little while that we've had to wait, but boy, I tell you, it certainly was worth the wait. And Piastri, he somehow holds on to 3rd place, so it's Aussie 1 and 3. That is a brilliant day for our Aussie fans watching at home. He might have had to get up early, because I think it would have been about 4 o'clock in the morning that they would have been watching the start of the race at the very least. But at least they can say that they've been treated to a very, very special result here today. And we have extended our championship lead to, I think, about 70 odd points. So where did Lewis finish? 7th. So I think the margin was about 40 something points. So was that 25? So we've extended our lead to 22 points. So maybe it's about 60 odd points. Well, actually maybe close to 70, because if you include the sprint race, which I can't remember at this rate where he finished. But look at that, Verstappen 17th after a puncture. That's gotta suck. Especially after his piss. I don't know when he made his stop, but it would have been very long. So there's 65 points between us and Lewis, and Verstappen's dropped down to 6th because of that puncture. Boy, he's had a wretched couple of weekends, I tell ya. And Mercedes do extend their lead in the constructors, but we are still there or thereabouts. But we do need Liam to be up there with us somehow. To be honest, it's still any one of the top 4 can win the constructors. That battle could go down to the final race. Now, I want to show you something, because Piastri got 3rd place by a couple of tenths. Oh boy, it was tight between Russell and Piastri, but I want to have a look at this. Look at where George is. He's overtaken Piastri. This is on the last lap. And I wanted to make sure I'm not seeing things, but there's the start-finish line coming up, and he's miles ahead. He's nearly a full car length ahead of Piastri, but he's ahead. Now, where's the checkered flag? There's the checkered flag. If you look at the marshal over there, he's miles ahead of Piastri. So unless he had a penalty of some sort, which I doubt it, because he's still 2 tenths behind him. In fact, that's not even a 2-tenth margin. That's literally under a 10th margin. So Piastri might have been a bit lucky. I don't recall seeing a yellow flag on the start-finish line, or start-finish straight. So that really caught my eye. George Russell being robbed of a podium in broad daylight. Someone get some security guards, because somebody has changed the result and has put Piastri on the podium somehow. Oh boy. Well, British fans will be spewing about that, but us Aussies will go, no way, that's fair. Sometimes it could be the other way, or is it the other way around? Who knows? Boy, that was a near touch with Pierre Gasly. That was actually the ugliest moment of the race right there. And us running wide there. We were ahead, so it can't really be leaving the track and gaining an advantage, because we were already ahead. So it'd probably just be a track limit warning. I think we've probably abused track limits quite a bit in this race. I probably should challenge myself to not only stay within track limits, but maybe turn restricted track limits on. So I would have loved to know how many penalties we would have got if we did that. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Next video will be in a few days' time in Qatar. Still got to do the audio work for that. But I hope you enjoyed that episode. It's been a doozy of a sprint weekend. 2 more sprint races to come. Next time out in Qatar and the final one in Brazil. But until the next one, for the Qatar Grand Prix, I'll see you guys next time.